So one of my rules is I don't do coffee or drink dates. Now, I understand that some women like this or prefer this because it's a quick turnaround, 30 to 45 minutes. If you don't like him, you can get out of there. It works for some people. If you like it, I love it. This video is not for you. Keep scrolling. However, for me, as for me and my household, we're going to have higher standards.
So one of my rules is I don't do coffee dates. I only do dates where you spend hundreds of dollars on me and buy me expensive food.
Why are you implying that coffee dates are for women with low standards? You low-key just took a dump on women that do coffee dates. Coffee dates is perfect for someone that you're trying to get to know, like you actually trying to get to know, and you don't know if you're going to feel comfortable with them spending a whole evening eating dinner with them. So a coffee date will be perfect to actually vet that person. It's not low standards, it's just different than your standards. If it get awkward, if it get weird, it works out for both parties because then the woman can leave quickly and the man doesn't have to spend a couple $100s. Granted, I don't really do the coffee date for the first date. I actually go out to dinner as well. But I'm not opposed to a coffee date. I would be glad to do a coffee date. I just think that a lot of times when you suggest a coffee date, women don't think that you're taking them serious. So you have to do something like Cheesecake Factory.
I'm talking to this guy and I'm going to read it to you because we've been talking for a couple days and he started talking about meeting up. So he said, we should get together over some pear and lychee cocktails soon. And I said, that's really sweet, but I prefer dinner. I like to get dressed up. Now, I always try to say it nicely because I don't want to be like, I don't accept drink dates. Like, you don't have to be mean. You don't have to be, you can be nice about it. But let's just say I prefer dinner because I like to get dressed up. And he said, I see. What type of places do you have in mind? So I sent him a list of places that I've been like wanting to try, all sorts of different budgets, okay? It ranges from like medium to a little bit higher, all different locations around the city so he can choose like what works for him, you know, timing and budget wise. So I sent the list of places. He says, these places sound really nice. I think it'll be fun to get to know each other over some nicer dining options. Here it comes though. But I wanted to let you know up front that if we were to meet at one of those places, I'm comfortable splitting the check. I usually will do drinks or something on the simpler end for the first meetup to see if there's a connection first. So my thing is, I don't like the coffee or drink date because they're trying to audition you to see if you are worth an actual dinner.
And are you not auditioning him? Isn't that what a date is? Both people are auditioning each other to see if this is somebody that you can actually be with. Are you not auditioning him when you trying to see how deep his pockets are when you pick the most expensive restaurant in your city? And as men, let's not ask the women what type of places did they have in mind for a first date. Let's decide that ourselves. It's the first date, my boy. Women are so easily turned off nowadays. Just asking that question alone could make her reject you or block you or anything of the sort. And if you pick the place, you can somewhat determine what the course of the night is going to be. So she sent him a list of places, and although she say that the list ranges in prices, I have a feeling they range from high end to even higher end places. Now let's look at it from the male point of view. If I'm dating around maybe a date, maybe 2 per week, and I'm spending maybe $300 per date, at the end of the month, I'm spending over $2,000 in dates. You have to look at it from the male perspective. If we're just dating and it's the first date, why would I spend so much on a first date? How many first dates don't lead to second dates? And a lot of these first dates, sometimes it's just the woman wanting to go to a nice place and you offered, so she accepted. It has nothing to do with you. She just wanted to go. So she gave him some options, and being that the options seemed like they were a little pricey, he suggested splitting the bill. Granted, I would never ever suggest splitting the bill on a first date, but I can see where he's coming from if she wants to go to a high-end restaurant on a first date. Nowadays, a lot of women are more interested in where you're going to take them for the first date and not actually interested in getting to know you.
Trying to audition you to see if you are worth an actual dinner. This is the thing for me. Like, I know men. The number one thing men are judging you off of is your looks, right? When they see you, they meet you, they're gonna be like, okay, how beautiful is she? Is she put together? Do I find her attractive, right? That's the number one thing. Your personality may come second, sure, but the first thing is how you look, right? So with that in mind, My NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer costs $32. Okay? Why would I put on a full face of expensive makeup, do my hair, make sure my nails are done, make sure there's no hair on my body, and then come and spend 2 hours of my time talking to you for an $8 coffee or a $16 cocktail? Be oh so for real. Let's take it even deeper. When women go out with a man that they do not know, they take a huge risk. Men are crazy, okay? Do you watch the news? Like 1 in 5 men are violent. He could unalive you, he could RAPE you, he could stalk you, he could harass you if he feels like it. Like, it is very dangerous, extremely dangerous. When you go out with a man, you have to share your location with your mom and your friend. You have to send a screen recording of his Hinge profile and the conversation that you guys had so that if you go missing, they have context. You have to text your friend every half an hour while you're with him to let her know that you haven't been beheaded. You have to take an Uber so that he doesn't know what kind of car you have, and just in case he's crazy. And then when you get home, you have to text somebody to tell them that you made it home alive. Men aren't doing that. They don't have to worry when they meet a woman that they do not know that their lives will be in danger. Quite the contrary. Men benefit from just being seen with you in public, okay? If you are beautiful, poised, well-dressed, it reflects well on him. People look at him and you and they think, oh wow, he must be the man. Ooh, he probably has money. You know what? He's probably a good guy if he can pull her. And this is especially so if you are more attractive than him. If he's fugly or he's overweight or he's short, they're like, oh yeah, he must have money in order to be able to pull a baddie like that. So my thing is like, what's in it for women? We've already spent more money than you by just putting our makeup on. We're in danger. Like,
Your makeup costs $32. I don't know much about makeup, but that don't really sound that bad to me. Say you had 10 products that you use to put on your face before you slide out on your date, and it costs $32 each. That's $320. As a matter of fact, let's say that they were $40 instead of $32. That's $400. Say out of that $400, you're going to get 30 uses out of that $400 worth of products, and you used it one time that night. That's $13.33. If you use $400 of product and you have 30 uses out of it, and you used it one time for that evening, that's $13.33 that you spent before you left the house. Let's double it. Let's say that your products is $800 and you get 30 uses out of it. And I'm just saying 30 because I don't know, but I feel like it's a lot more uses than 30. But let's just say it's 30 uses. If you have $800 worth of makeup products and you use it one time that night, that's $26.66 if you get 30 uses out of $800 worth of makeup products. Let's triple it. Let's triple it. Let's say that your makeup costs $1,200, which it probably don't, which it damn sure don't, because you just told us that it was $32 for one concealer. So let's just say out of the 10 products you have, it all equals $1,200 and you get 30 uses out of this $1,200. You spent $40 before you left the house. I spend $60 before I get out of the barber's chair. It's $60 for a dude's haircut, not even counting the gas. And then that's not counting the $200-$300 you want me to spend on a date. So how is it possible that you spent more than me before you even left the house? Ladies, let's not try to compare like who's spending what and all this. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. You are not spending more than a dude on a date. And she's mentioning how dangerous it is meeting men and all these different things she has to do to take safety precautions. And that makes sense. Let's not forget that you opted out of the coffee date, which is most likely in the daytime, where it's a lot safer to go on a dinner date at nighttime, where it's probably a little more dangerous. If you're so afraid of what a man might do to you during the date, go on a coffee date. Not one woman in the history of dating has been beheaded during a coffee date. But on a dinner date, those chances might go up a little bit. I don't know. But why not properly vet him on a coffee date in the daytime? I know why. Because using him for fancy dates is more important than your safety. is more important than actually getting to know him. And how do I benefit from being seen with you? I'm not seeking validation from strangers looking at you saying, oh, he must have this, he must have that because he's with a beautiful woman. I don't care what they think. I'm not seeking validation from strangers I'm never going to see again. How did I benefit from that? Did I get a raise? Did I get a new job offer? This is the dating market nowadays.
What's in it for us? So then all of that, plus this man is a pharmacist, okay? You mean to tell me you make upwards of $150,000 per year, but you can't take me to $120 to maybe $200 dinner? 2 drinks, an appetizer, 2 entrees, and a dessert? Like, and that kind of thing, look, men are supposed to be on their like best behavior when they're doing a first interaction with a woman. Like, that is when they are at their absolute best. So if he's being cheap now for a first interaction, he's gonna be cheap on your birthday, he's gonna be cheap on Christmas, like that kind of thing. That only gets worse. It never gets better. That is the type of man that's going to want you to work full time, pay half the rent when you guys move in together, do the majority of the housework because he doesn't want to hire a housekeeper, raise the kids, plan most of the things, and then after you do your 16-hour shift of labor, he's going to want you to be happy and sexy for him for his pleasure that night. Like, that's the kind of life you're looking at. So you know what? Good for this man for asserting his boundary. He did it very nicely, and it showed me what his like attitude or approach is when it comes to dating new women, and ultimately it gave me the opportunities to choose, and I have my boundaries too, so I chose to not accept it. And so I didn't respond or anything. I didn't like bargain with him or try to justify anything. I just quietly unmatched him because I wasn't gonna let him play in my face. But like, obviously if you're on TikTok, like this is not irregular discourse. Like, this is very popular. Like, the Red Pill podcast men are always talking about like all of these things. So like, it's not uncommon. Like, men are trying to get away with this these days. They're trying to see what they can do. They're trying to get at you for less than $20. Okay, so the pharmacist tried to give me a coffee date on a Friday. Saturday, a surgeon took me to a beautiful dinner with a view. The next day after that, this other man took me to this food event where the tickets were $250 because he wanted us to have VIP. So don't feel scarce about it, because there are plenty of men, there are a plethora of men that would be more than happy to show you a good time. So never settle. Date until you find the best man for the job, and you got this. That's my TED Talk for the day. You didn't ask, but I felt like you would listen. Send this to one of your friends who needs to raise their standards, and tell me what you feel like in the comments.
What's in it for women? What's in it for women? Maybe getting to know a guy that you might spend the rest of your life with. Maybe this guy is gonna be the guy you marry and father your children. What do you mean? What are you getting out of it? This is how we looking at dating nowadays. What are you gonna get out of this date? You're probably gonna get to know someone. You get to see if you like them or not. Not use them to take you around to expensive places around the city. You trying to go see that new fancy restaurant downtown, so but this guy been asking me out. I tell him to take me. And I'm not even saying that you can't afford it. I'm sure you can afford it yourself. But I think your mindset is more, well, why would I pay for it when I got 3 guys asking me out right now? How about I let one of them take me? And then I'm going to have another one take me out on Saturday. And then I'm going to have another one take me out on Sunday. So I'm supposed to spend $200, $250, $300 on a date on you on Friday, and then you're going to turn around and then go on another date with another guy doing the same thing on Saturday, and then another guy doing the same thing on Sunday. How am I going to feel if I just dropped all this money on you on Friday night and then you turned around and did the same thing Saturday and Sunday? I'm going to feel like I've been used, like I've been bamboozled. I'm going to feel like a loser. I'm going to feel like a sucker, because it's obvious that she's not really into me for real. Yo, let me tell you, if I went on a date with somebody, I spent all that money, and then I found out somebody else spent all that money on Saturday, then somebody else spent all that money on Sunday, I'm going to feel like, yo, she just like expensive dates. She not really into me. She said dude spent $250 a ticket on a food event. This dude spent $500. Meanwhile, he just another guy on the list because somebody else was just with her the night before. Just say you hungry and you want to date rich men who gonna pay for your food. Hey YouTube, man, that's all I have for today. Please like, subscribe, share. Pass this video on to the homies. Pass this video on to your homegirls. Please leave your perspective. Please tell me what you think down in the comments. I appreciate you sticking by for another video with your boy. Peace.